Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to talk about dehydrating yogurt, and yes, you can do it. So I'm going to talk about a couple different ways. Now the first one I did in the winter time when we had the fires going in the wood stove. And Patrick had made me years ago a dehydrating rack that I can use either next to, which is where I most predominantly use it, the wood stove, or on top of the wood stove. So if I'm doing meats, heavier things, I might put it on top of the wood stove, but for more delicate things, and that includes the yogurt, I do that next to the wood stove so it doesn't get too hot. And one key thing that I do recommend having is some silicone trays like I have here. I'll link to these brown ones. I have the green ones too. I like them both. The brown ones, though, are a better price. The only reason I even bought them was so I could try them and compare them and then share that with you. But they make the brown ones for both the Kasori and the Excalibur. And again, they have the best price because you can buy 6 for less than you can with the green ones. But the green ones, they make some for the Nesco. I've only found them in the Bright Kitchen, and those ones are actually cheaper than the square ones, which is weird. You think the donut shaped ones would be more expensive to make. But anyway, I have both kinds, so you can use any type of dehydrator. But anyway, on the wood stove, I still did the same thing with my dehydrator rack. And I just put those silicone trays onto the much wider trays like this that go on that rack. And I thought I tried it with just one small amount because I wanted to see if it was going to work first. And it did. I was surprised at how quickly it dehydrated just sitting next to my wood stove. So what I found is putting no more than 6 ounces on each tray, which is your typical size of an individual yogurt container. That dehydrates up really well. And then I simply powdered it up using the coffee grinder I bought specifically for food. I have a separate one I have separate ones for coffee. I have hand crank and I have an electric. But anyway, the one thing about this is if you're going to do something like that, I recommend finding a coffee grinder where you can take it apart and wash this part separately. So that's what I do. Whenever I'm done using it for grinding up foods, I take this and this inner part and then I just wash them with the rest of my dishes. And this is Hamilton Beach, and I'll link to this one down below so you can take a look at it. But anyway, I know not all of them are made that way. So if you're wanting a dedicated one for food, I definitely recommend finding one where you can take it out and wash it easily like that. So I use that whenever I'm processing up smaller amounts. If I'm doing bigger amounts, I use my blender because then it's a lot faster than constantly having to run this thing. But if it's just a little bit, a coffee grinder actually works better for small amounts than a blender does. So at any rate, I simply took just plain yogurt, spread it on the tray using a silicone spatula to spread it as evenly as I could. Same thing for the ones I did in the electric dehydrator. And by the way, I wanted to throw out, because yogurt is thicker, you can get away, in this case, using parchment paper if you don't have the silicone trays and can't afford to buy them. But if you have parchment paper, consider spreading that over your racks and then just spreading yogurt on there. It's thick enough you don't have to worry about it running off like you would with eggs or milk or other types of things like that are very runny. In my dehydrator, I have the Kasori. Because I'm trying to preserve the probiotic benefits of the yogurt, I don't want to dehydrate it too high and have that killed off. So I set the heat at 110 degrees. You could go even lower. And then I just let it run for 18 hours because that's what I commonly have it set at. I think I checked it around 10 hours, and while most of it seemed pretty dry, there was a lot of it that was still pretty flexible. Now this right here, these 4 trays were a total of about 20 ounces because I had a whole 16-ounce container plus another container I had open that I took some of that out. So I could equal approximately 6 ounces per tray and even that out and make sure my dehydrator was filled up. But now here, you'll see there's a chunk taken out because I had to try a piece. And that was a piece that was already cracked, so I just broke it off there. These two are blueberry yogurt and strawberry yogurt because I hadn't tried a flavored yogurt or yogurt with fruit in it. So it's kind with the fruit at the bottom, you stir it up, And I wanted to give it a try and see how well it did. Now, while it dried beautifully, and it is rather crispy, it's just a little more flexible. And that would be because of the fruit and the sugar in the fruit, making it that way. But I can tell by the crispiness of this that it will still powder up really good. So that's, for each one of these trays, there's like a 6-ounce container on each one. And it tastes great. It's like, I actually don't want to powder this up. I'll go ahead and do one just to show that it can be done. And I'll do that in the coffee grinder. But I think I'd like to just eat it like this, like a snack. Eat it in pieces. However, powdering it up means that you can store it. And then anytime you need it, you can take a little bit out. Add some water, add some milk, add some juice, whatever you want to add to rehydrate it and stir it up. The amount you add is going to be up to you. People want exact amounts, but that's the beauty of using things like this, is that you can add however much water you want. You can make it as thin or as thick as you want, but just keep stirring it and adding the water a little at a time. Now, I did find when I did the one next to the wood stove that it was just a little bit grainy. But the thing about the yogurt powder is that you can add it to anything. I plan on using the plain yogurt for making ranch dressing. So I do have an old video out there where I made mayonnaise and ranch dressing, I think in the same video. I'll link to that down below. And I think in that one I was using fresh milk kefir. But in this case, since I haven't been doing the milk kefir in quite a while, I'm liking the idea of having dehydrated plain yogurt where I can make the ranch dressing using that instead, in place of the milk kefir or sour cream. You can also get sour cream powder. And by the way, I do plan on trying to dehydrate some sour cream as well. That'll be one of my next dehydrating projects. Since this one's already pretty well broken up, let me go ahead and powder the strawberry one first. This case, because this is kind of small, I'll use my little canning funnel. And the thing I like about the silicone is you can just kind of fold it up and then dump it in there. Oh, I still got a lot on the tray, so I'll have to just kind of work that off. But let me just go ahead and do this a little bit. You want it to fit in there. You don't want it too full. All right, let's go ahead and process this up. So always tap the lid, because you'll get a lot of powder that will stick to the top, and I'll just kind of shake it down. That way, when you go to take the lid off, you're less likely to get a bunch all over your counter. This powdered up beautifully. It still has a bit of a grainy feel, but I'm fine with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in this jar. I think this would also be, like the flavored ones like this, would really be great for adding to smoothies as well. And the plain, you could do that too, but we're not big into smoothies. Every once in a while I'll do that, but at any rate, this would be a great idea right here. Now let's go ahead and do the plain yogurt. I'm going to use the blender because I definitely have more of that, and I don't want to have to do so many runs on the coffee grinder, and plus I'd have to wash it between the different flavors anyway. So same thing here. I'm just going to take, and you can see how this looks when it's all dehydrated. It just flakes right off of there pretty easily. You might have some that you might have to scrape off. But I'm not going to do that all on camera because I don't want to waste your time. I just want to get this done so you can see what I do next. And I'm thinking I should be able to get all 4 trays in here at once. We'll see as I push it down. In fact, a lot of times I'll even use my tamper. That helps give me an idea. So you see how much that tamped down just doing that. Tray number 3. Tray number 4. I'm going to try to do all 4 of these at once, and hopefully that's not too much to powder up at a time. And I also recommend having a long chopstick on hand, because what you're going to want to do is, after you powder it a little bit, you're going to want to take your chopstick and stir it around in there, around the blades. You don't want to use silicone or rubber because it's going to get hung up in your blades, and that will work any of the stuff that wants to kind of pack down at the bottom. All right, here we go. So this might be better, just 2 trays at a time. So you're doing, the original amount would have been 12 ounces. Okay, that looks pretty good. That's what I thought. I think it's good. I think I'm going to be able to fit all of that into this half-pint jar. Look at there. Look at there. And you can even use your silicone spatula to get in there and kind of scrape it off the sides. if you're going to seal this up for long-term storage, because this is a powder like that, you're going to want a barrier over the top. That's going to prevent, when you go to vacuum seal, it's going to prevent the powder from pulling out from under the lid and then putting a coating around the rim of the jar, which will then maybe just make a false seal if it seals at all. So having a little piece of cloth, a piece of paper towel, I usually use a clean piece of cotton cloth that I cut, because I always have a lot of material like that on hand, and I'll cut them to fit. And then when I'm done, you know, once I use that jar and I don't need that cloth anymore, then I just wash it up and then reuse it. So it just has to be big enough that you can cover the top of the ingredients. And by the way, muffin liners, the paper ones, some people will use that. I like to do things use things I already have on hand and that I can also reuse. Then you put your lid in place, making sure that fabric isn't creeping out. That's kind of the tricky part. The fabric wants to kind of creep out. So put that lid on. Then you put your vacuum sealing top, whichever one you're using. I use the off-brand one for the regular mouth because it works better than the Food Saver. But the Food Saver ones I have the handles. They're easier to pull off of there. Like I always say, I like to use my brake bleeder pump. There's many ways you can vacuum seal. There's several different electric ways you can use. I covered quite a few of them in the video I did on options for vacuum sealing that I'll link to down below. This, though, is my very favorite method. I love this. No charging batteries, no worrying about how to plug it in, and I get a little bit of a workout. So anyway, I just pump that up until that needle stops moving. And then you want to pull this off, and then you want to check by picking it up and holding it and making by the lid and making sure it is sealed. And so there we go. And then, yes, I always put the band on vacuum sealed dried goods. That is important. This is not canned goods. A lot of people question, they think that putting a band on is a taboo. That only applies to pressure can or water bath canned goods, not dried goods. Dried goods, you really should put that lid on. I highly recommend it, especially with powdered goods. Because if your seal comes undone and you don't realize it and you grab that jar and you grab it the way I tend to do things, you might end up having it go all over the place. And not only do you have a big mess, you just wasted all that product. So I don't need the pint jar. I had a feeling that I could fit it all in there. So consider this is at least 20 ounces, I'm thinking more, of yogurt reduced down to a half pint jar. And then this one, I brought in a smaller jar while I was at it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put the flavored yogurts in little jars like this. And I'm not going to vacuum seal because I'm going to probably use these up right away. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and use the half pint jar to store the blueberry yogurt since I'm not going to powder that one up. Go ahead and just break this up. And then, of course, you know, like I said, you're going to want to get your edges and pull all that yogurt out of the corners and so on. And then just roll it up and pour it into your jar. Now, if your yogurt is still sticking, you want to get it all off there, consider just taking a metal spatula like this and just scraping it like that. That should work pretty good. But anyway, again, I'll get the rest of this later. And this, because it's not in a powder form, I don't need to put, if I do vacuum seal it, I don't have to put a barrier over it. Only on your powdered stuff is that necessary. But I'm just going to leave it like that. And that one I'll use for snacking. This one I'll use, I got to get a lid on it. This one I'll use for mixing with water or whatever to make some yogurt if I want to eat it or feed it to the ground baby. And we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I think it's a great option if you're just wanting to have some put up for ease of use or whatever it is, or even for flavoring things. I could see like your flavored yogurts like this, you using and making a homemade icing and various other types of things. So I hope you found this video interesting and helpful and gave you some ideas. And again, I will be trying sour cream. Until trying the yogurt, I wouldn't have thought sour cream would work, but there's not a whole lot of differences in texture and consistency, so I think it should dehydrate up well. So I'm looking forward to giving that a try here in the very near future. And if you're interested in any other dehydrating videos like milk, eggs, broth, herbs, and more. I'll be putting that full playlist in the description box down below. Don't forget to click on show more or just the word more somewhere down here just below the video screen to open the description box up so you can find all the links and other information that I put in there. And share any of your thoughts, ideas, suggestions, or if you've tried this and what you use your yogurt powder or dried yogurt for. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.